Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm your random nerd here for the next episode of The Outer Worlds. Now, it's been a while since I've recorded a video, and for that I apologize. I've had some family things to deal with. I had death in the family, and I'm just now getting back to some semblance of normal. But I haven't completely wasted the time. Look, I've learned to become a really neat YouTuber. Look at this. Cool, ain't it? Anyway. We'll jump right into the Outer Worlds. And if you'll recall, when we left our game, we had just become the pilot of the Unreliable. We've just become the pilot of the Unreliable because the previous captain got squished because he stood right under the landing beacon for our escape pod. So we have our quest. Let's see, if we go in here, we look at our journal. We found Hawthorne's ship. We have to find a power regulator in Edgewater. Edgewater is a really interesting town. The first place you get into, and it seems like the developers put a lot more work into the characters and everything in Edgewater. But we'll see what we get. So, oh, here's someone. See,
I'll be with you, friend. I'm Ernie from the Spacer's Choice Department of Human Resources. Town sent me hereabouts to check on the guards. Now, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but seems to me they're all dead. Mind telling me what happened here?
So we can say, yeah, the guards and the locals had a bit of an altercation. Or we can lie to them and say the guards accidentally, brutally shot themselves while on patrol. Or, I don't like your tone, Ernie. Well, I'm not going to be mean to them. I'm just going to say, yeah, the guards and the locals had a bit of an altercation.
Altercation, you say? Yeah, shame as that goes. Spacer's Choice policy strictly prohibits dying during work hours. Guess I'd better get to cleaning up. Can't just leave company property scattered about, bleeding out on the dirt.
So we could say I could use their gear, no sense in letting a good suit of armor go to waste, or a good idea, and clean the ship up while you're at it. We can say, don't you care that they died? Now, like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm going to make some different choices here. In fact, meeting Ernest is, in fact, a bit of a different choice. I didn't see him in my playthrough, because I actually fought the Marauders myself and didn't convince the Spacer's Choice guards to fight them. And so I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm just going to say, don't you care that they died?
That who died? Oh, right. Yeah,
right.
Well, we do need all the hands we got, what with folks in Edgewater dropping off like sissy pig tumors. Less competition, though, come promoting time. You don't want to amble on over to Edgewater at your earliest convenience. Constable's office might have work for someone with your, let's just say, aggressive disposition. Oh, and be sure to stop by the Edgewater Provisioner for a can of salt tuna. It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
Okay, so we could just leave, or I'm going to say, hang on, I want to ask you something.
Don't get paid bits to chat with strangers. You want to chew the rag, go talk to Silas over by the cemetery.
Well, then I guess I'll be on my way. All right, well, I already looted them for everything that I could get off of them, so... Edgewater is this way. I think we have a map. Yeah, we do have a map. I can't fast travel. See, that's the landing site where I'm at now. This is where I need to go. I can't fast travel there because I haven't discovered it yet. But it looks like it's a fairly straight shot between here and Edgewater. I'm sure I won't run into anything mean and nasty between here and there. I am going to go up and around this ridge because down there just looks like a whole lot of bad news. Now, I really do like this game. It's got some great visuals. The gameplay is great. I really enjoyed my first playthrough of it. It's got some memorable characters and some situations that you wouldn't normally find yourself in. Okay. So this is just kind of laying out here. Sure, I'll take the bit cartridge. That's their version of Bitcoin, where everything uses that in the future. Keep dreaming. could go up and around that way. Let's just take the straight route. So there's a town leader out here, it says. Town leader. Town leader's a real piece of work, let me tell you. I don't particularly like him. Look at that planet, that's beautiful. There is the bustling metropolis of Edgewater. Oh, neat little flowers here. So, there's the graveyard. How do I guess I can go over here. Again, I approached the city from a different angle last time when I played my playthrough. Oh, man, old gravestones.
Whoa, hey, where'd you come from?
Hey, Silas.
Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend.
Ah, I know it. Like I say, I'm just passing through, or my pod crashed in the hills back there. How do you know I'm not a marauder? I'll say my pod crashed in the hills back there.
Your pod? What are you on about? You take a bruise to the cranium? Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls. And low prices.
You never got your name. I'm Sally, or do they pay you to chat with strangers, or we can lie to them and say, nice to meet you. I'm Alex Hawthorne, captain of the Unreliable. Now, I've tried that in my last game, and no one believes that you're Alex Hawthorne, even though Alex, is a unisex name. Is that why you've got a pair of armed guards? So, I can say I never got your name. I'm Sally.
Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand, but I've been hauling corpses. You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family.
So, who do I talk to about a power regulator? I'm looking to make a little money. This place looks like it's falling to pieces. Junior in humor. Fancy title for a gravedigger. So I'll just start at the top.
Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer?
Depends on the work. You offer me a job, or I do what I want. You're asking the wrong person. I'm not interested. I'll say you offer me
Edgewater
a
is a
job.
company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites. We rent them from the company.
Rent them from the company.
Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see?
You make people pay for their own graves?
Company policy. If it was up to me, I'd put the whole town 10 feet under, free of charge.
Why can't you collect these yourself?
Quotas, mostly. Got a backlog of graves to fill. Bodies won't bury themselves, you know?
I don't know. It depends on the game you're playing. Let's see. All right. I'll collect your fees for you.
4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little.
Why is Abernathy a special case?
He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up.
Where can I find these people?
Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad.
Something else I wanted to ask you. Let's see. You lose a lot of people to marauders?
Former people, yeah. Marauders been raiding my graves, you see. Hence the armed guards.
What are they after? Loot?
Oh no. They are after the most precious loot of all. Spacer's Choice Company property. If those marauders swipe any more bodies out of my cemetery, company's gonna duck my pay.
This town must be in pretty bad shape if it's keeping you
You
employed.
could look at it that way, I suppose. You could look at us and say, those Edgewater saps lost near every soul to plague. But you'd be wrong. We're survivors. Loyal company folk, brave in the wilds.
You're not worried about falling sick?
Every now and again, a virulent plague sweeps through our town. That's life on the frontier, I suppose. A body grows accustomed.
How long have you been a junior in humor? Gravedigger? Whatever.
Hang on, I'm doing some math in my head. 20, 30, carry the one. All my life?
All my life.
Work's been real good to me. Fresh air, exercise. Only problem is the paperwork. Can't get anybody to pay their gravesite fees.
All right, so that's all for now. I've learned everything I can learn from him. So we've got some updates on our quests. So let's look at the journal real quick. So, stranger in a strange land, find a power regulator. You've learned that the man named Reed Thompson is in charge of Edgewater. He might be able to help you find the parts you need to fix the ship. We also have another task that's not on the main quest, which is to collect all those graveside fees. Of course, we have a codex, and I'm not going to go through the entire codex here. If you want to read the codex, buy your own copy of the game. I'm here to play the game, not read a whole bunch of stuff. So there's corporate recruits. Now, what's interesting about the world of the Outer Worlds is that every company basically owns these people. And everything, it's kind of almost a diatribe on capitalism run amok. And, as you just heard, people pay their own gravesite fees, and when they stop paying them, they dig the bodies up. You'll see some things in terminals around here that really just make it out to be that it's all about the corporation. They don't really care about the people all that much. And you have a choice of either siding with the corporations and becoming, the boot on the neck of the people in these towns, or you can try to fight against the board. There's a pretty big fight at the end, and I honestly took me a long time to get to it. Hopefully, I'll get better by the time I get up there. So here is that's an interesting guy. He's got that's his helmet.
They start asking you for some medicine, come tell me. I'll set them straight.
Really? Okay. Well, there's the cantina. OSI. So, let's just go see the guy in charge of the town, Reed Thompson. Like I said, I really didn't care for Reed Thompson. I really like the almost Western sound of the soundtrack. Reminds me of Firefly a lot. Alright, so he's above the cannery, so let's go in the cannery here. Hello? Anyone home? Saltuna, Emerald Vale of Terra 2. Okay, what's in here? Well, that's just the factory floor, looks like. Vending machines, just like in Borderlands. Taste the freedom with Spacer's Choice, now with extra added artificial ingredients at no extra cost. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so let's. This terminal is unlocked, so let's look through and see what's in the terminal. If you've ever played a Bethesda game, you know that there's lots of interesting stuff in the terminal. So we'll look at the logs. Notice, the Edgewater Saltuna Canning Factory strictly adheres to Spacer's Choice standards of health and safety. Notice, schedule your sick leave with the Spacer's Choice foreman and or supervisor. Be considerate towards other members of the Spacer's Choice family. Allow 2 to 4 weeks to process and approve your scheduled sick leave. Really? Lost hours must be compensated to the company. See Reed if you're having trouble paying for your sick leave. We'll try to arrange wage deductions instead. Like I said, it's all about the company. You've got workers that are sick that have to pay to actually take sick time. Now, I've worked for some pretty shady companies in my day, but I never had to reimburse the company for lost income if I took sick days. There was a company my oldest child worked for that I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if that was the way they worked, but that's neither here nor there. Remember, work invigorates the spirit. Sickness in the body reflects sickness in the mind and sickness in the character. If you find yourself falling ill, it may be a time to schedule a meeting with our local vicar. So basically, if you get sick, it's your fault. There's a lot of society that's that way. If you have a mental illness or you get some kind of disease, well, you must have done something wrong, or God doesn't like you, or something like that. And it's just, I really don't subscribe to that as much. So that's interesting. We got some stuff we can tactically acquire here. Oh, we can steal it. I'm not going to steal right off the bat. Yeah, if you steal, you lose reputation with these guys, and I'm not particularly sure I want to do that. So here is the elevator we need to go in. So let's jump on in there. So we will use that.
The grease monkey, Argo?
I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, sir. You asked why it's taking so long to fix. The answer's
Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up.
I got too close to him. I wanted to hear that entire
I was given
conversation.
no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself.
I'll wait until you're finished.
You were saying, Miss Holcomb.
It's just what Bess needs is a proper refurbish. I can bandage her up and what all, but she's just old. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'll do better.
And I do wish you'd stop referring to our cannery as Bess. Personification of company property is strictly contrary to the Spacer's Choice Code of Conduct. My apologies. I am not in the habit of allowing my guests to witness such a row. Now, what can I do for you?
All right. We can start with introductions. I'm Sally.
I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform.
I think you may have the wrong idea about me. Uniform? What are you talking about? Or I don't work for Spacer's Choice, so we'll just say uniform?
Shirt, pants, work boots, company-approved colors. The, honorable apparel of a loyal worker?
I think you may have the wrong idea about me.
Yes, so it dawns on me. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
Thank you. My ship needs repairs. I'm looking for a power regulator.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process.
Frying myself?
Oh, yes. Saw someone put his hands on a regulator while the power was running. His legs were still twitching when we buried him.
Oh, my.
There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way.
When you say mostly abandoned, what do you mean?
I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
What a surprise. I never would have guessed.
I am not trying to pull one over on you, friend. You were bound to run into them sooner or later. The people living in the botanical labs, they're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home.
Why?
Edgewater is struggling. We haven't hit our production quota in years. If we don't meet our quotas this year, the company might shut us down for good. I need those workers back at their stations.
I can say, how can I help? Or none of what you're telling me is my problem. Or I've seen Edgewater. I don't blame those workers for walking out. We've not really seen that much of Edgewater, although it is really run down for a space city of the future. So none of what you're telling me is my problem. I'll just say, how can I help?
My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader, Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
How will I recognize Adelaide?
Adelaide's older than the other deserters. She's dignified, kindly. From what I understand, her camp looks to her for leadership.
Well, those workers must have left town for a reason. Probably that hat you're wearing. Ugh.
That reason was me. I asked too much and pushed too hard. But I am ready to make amends if they are willing to return to the fold. We belong to one community, the Spacer's Choice family. If we dissolve into factions, then we will all perish separately. Adelaide will understand that.
Huh. All right, Reed. I'll see what I can do
My
for you.
dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come
It's
in
one
useful.
of my favorite NPCs.
I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson.
Parvati.
Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
I'm not going to turn Parvati away. I could use the company.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape,
Hairpins.
so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Let's get going. All right, so you get the little seminar about companions here. All right. So we can... No, Parvati is now in the party. Let's talk to her.
We better clear out of Mr. Thompson's office before we talk.
Oh, good idea. Let's go down here then. All right, now we're out of his office.
Can we talk? Sorry. Can we talk?
Sure.
Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
So again, we can have several ways of going about this. This is about the deserter, so what's the other side of it? I could say figures. Reed didn't exactly strike me as the most honest soul, or what he said seemed pretty straightforward to me. I don't want to... I really don't trust Reed, and you'll figure out why a little later on in the game.
Oh, he ain't a liar. He believes every word he says.
He believes every word he says.
It's just, he doesn't always get where other folk are talking from. To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left.
Did you know Adelaide?
Miss McDevitt? Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office with Mr. Thompson. All I know is she left after her son died. It was a real big to-do. I could hear them both yelling clear from my own place.
You can't leave it at that. Why were they
Can't
arguing?
say as I know. I wasn't there. The sound carried, but not the words.
Okay.
If Mr. Thompson ain't of a mind to tell you his own self, you'd best ask Miss McDevitt, if you can get out to her.
How well did you know the reserters? How well did you know the deserters? You worked with them? Were you friends
I don't know
or
anybody well. I mostly listened to them talk, kept my head down. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real sweet to me.
what? I
Not any
bet.
sort of dissident.
I can't blame anybody for wanting to leave. This town's got issues.
Life's hard here. Especially for them that don't fit in so well. We're one big Spacer's Choice family, but every family's got the one the rest whisper about. Mr. Thompson's
comment.
aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is.
Where would I find
The
him?
mission's on the east side of town. You can't miss it. On account of it being the only clean thing.
I suppose it couldn't hurt. We'll stop
Thanks,
by.
ma'am. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it.
Absolutely.
That's what my dad used to say anyways.
I really like Parvati. She is one of my favorite companions in the game. So this is probably just another entry back into the cannery. All right, so now we've got a few more missions. Let's see. Comes now the power. Optional, speak to the vicar. Parvati wants to visit the town's vicar. She's a little uncertain about the task Reed has set before you. The vicar might be able to provide some moral guidance. Or we can deliver Reed's message. He asks you to deliver a message to Adelaide and her deserters. Come back to town because he's cutting off their power. Adelaide and her people are camped out in the botanical lab north of Edgewater. Alright, so we can look at Parvati. And we can... So she's got some decent weapons, I think. Yeah, we can pick a perk for her. So, maximum health. Make them aggro 30% more. Or 30% less, or support engineering. Increase, let's see. I will take the healthy perk for her. Oh, I have none available. I thought I had one available. That's where you can change the behaviors. Okay, good enough. So, we can wander here around Edgewater. We will have to do that for one of the quests. In fact, let's do the quest where we collect on the graveside thing. So now we've got quest markers up top for all of them. So let's just toddle on over here. So Ludwig Miller is out here at the landing pad. Alright. Oh, there's a nasty over there. Let's see. So this used to be, I guess, the city before they before everybody died. So there's the employment community. I imagine we can look through all of these houses if the doors are open. Oh. Oh, it's a sprat. What? They weren't bothering us. Jeez.
That's the last of them.
The sprats are not really all that aggressive. They don't really hurt you unless you hurt them first, so whatever. So let's look through here. Of course, like any good adventure game, you keep everything you can lay your grubby little hands on. Oh, I don't have any lockpicks. I gotta get some of them. Can I buy them over here? I think this is just food over here. So let's see. Yeah, I can't get any lockpicks. What can I sell? Oh, I got a lot of stuff I can sell. I'll sell that. Bunch of nanners. Let's see. I don't think I'll need any. Sell anything. It's Spacer's Choice. You'll get sick of hearing that and the little jingles for all the other companies as well. Okay. What happened here? I like that bulb. Might get one for myself here. Ambidextrine. Like many other adventure games, you can just stuff yourself to the gills with drugs. So let's see. I don't have any bypass shots either. I could have sworn I had some. Maybe there's some up here. Let's see. Yeah, there's a couple of bypass shunts. Okay, so can't get out there, although I think that's just the balcony anyway. So we'll just go down here and we'll hack into this terminal. We can see what was up with this building. So do this. Hold it down to hack. Spacer's Choice Saltuna Marketing Division. Oh, I can unlock the balcony door from here. Okay, so let's look at the personal files. Ideas for Saltuna Light taglines. Melts on your fork, not in your mouth. Really? Less fat with some Saltuna flavor. It's brine time. Now with the satisfying crunch of cartilage. That's not really something that I would want. Anyway, whatever. You can't spell Saltuna without salt. Note, also can't spell Saltuna without aunts. Potential to market toward families. As there are aunts in the Saltuna. Leading scientists say it's still food. Awesome. The Saltuna will thank you. Warning, may cause auditory hallucinations. That's... Oh, we'll add more later. Okay. We can look at the messages. To Reed Thompson. Hey boss, just wanted to check up on the new Saltuna Light project. I've been brainstorming some new taglines for the product line, and I think some of them will really catch our customers' attention. And he replies back, Dear Lawrence, I appreciate your hard work on behalf of our beloved brand of Saltuna. I've just received a response from corporate. They're not interested in your idea of a light version of the Saltuna brand because we'd rather not compete with ourselves. Yeah, but I mean, well, I guess there's not really much else food to buy, so they are interested in the idea of a lighter Saltuna. Effective immediately, we have been instructed to use heavier weighted cans so we can pack them with less Saltuna, thereby saving bits to every can. You'd be surprised at how many actual manufacturers, food manufacturers and food companies that actually do this. One of the big ones that you can look at, if you'll go into your grocery store and you'll look at, I think it's Yoplait, I think. Anyway, there's two brands of yogurt. One is the regular and one is whipped. It's lighter. The same size bottles, same size little containers. One contains 8 ounces and one contains 6 ounces because it's whipped with air, and they're both the same price. Companies kind of do this a lot. They'll lessen the amount of product in their packaging, modify their packaging so it looks almost the same, but it contains less product in there, and they'll still charge the same amount. So, like I said, this game's kind of a diatribe against out of control capitalism, just simply because that's just how it is sometimes. This is exactly the kind of breakthrough our cannery needs. In fact, our logistics department has just confirmed my request to have you transferred from the marketing division to the cannery. Can you imagine, Lawrence? You'll be rubbing elbows with your fellow workers on the canning line, filling each slightly heavier can with slightly less Saltuna, hour after hour, day after day. This is a great and tremendous honor for you and me. Effective immediately, your position in our marketing division has been terminated. I expect you to report to our foreman tomorrow morning. Your uniform will be deducted from your pay. So he lost his job in marketing, and now he just works on the assembly line there in the Saltuna factory, which I'm not saying there are no unimportant jobs. It's what I've always told my kids. As long as you can make a living doing it, and you don't want to drive your car into a lake every morning going to work, then who cares what other people thinks about your job? But it's gotta stink. We're in marketing, which is supposedly more of a higher job, higher up job, and now you're just down on the line. You know, it's a unskilled labor. So, welcome. And, of course, you got to pay for your own uniform. Trespassing, lockpicking, and murder are all considered illegal activity, you don't say, and are frowned upon by society. Avoid being seen if you want to engage in those activities without consequences. Okay, well, that makes sense. And I'm going to unlock that balcony door. So, yeah, it was just the balcony. So we'll go up there and see if there's anything on the balcony. Since I couldn't pick through it. Oh, there's a little bridge over there. Okay, so let's see. Got like a little break area here. Let's see. Nothing in the bin. Alright, well, let's just see what's over here then. Whoop! And anything in this bin? And a light machine gun. Awesome. Can I go through here? No, I can't go through here. Alright, well... I wonder if I take fall damage. I forget if I think I do take fall damage. So let's just go back down the stairs. And... okay there, Parvati? Alright, so... There's the sprats. Did we... yeah, I still can't get into that. So where's Ludwig Miller? Oh, he's on the other side of the city. The city has 2 exits. So let's just go back through here and go out the other side, because this is not the landing pad. Maybe we'll get some of these other people while we're at it. So let's, we're closer to Martin Abernathy, so let's do Martin Abernathy.
Wish we had some better rations.
We should keep our voices down.
So where is he? Phyllis Granger. And Martin Abernathy's inside here. Alright.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. I'm fine, Mr. Thompson. Never been healthier. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued.
Definitely
as
not
spry
plagued.
as a spring chicken.
Spry as a spring
That's
chicken.
old Abernathy.
Take it easy. Mr. Thompson didn't send me. I heard you said, well, you can use perception and say, you want to tell me what's got you so nervous?
You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own domicile, pestering him about his mental state?
Oh, I guess that didn't work. That's an interesting term, alienist. That's what they used to call psychiatrists way back at the beginning of the 19th, or I guess the end of the 19th, the beginning of the 20th century. So you're Martin Abernathy.
What? No. I mean, I might be.
Might be.
That depends on who's asking.
I'm not looking for money. Or, I'm not looking for money. I am looking for money. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm just here to collect your gravesite fees.
Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows.
Oh, yeah, he's sick. I could lie to him and say he told me everything. How long did you think you could keep a secret like that? Or I could just play dumb. Knows what.
I'm dying. I'm not long for this world. The date of my expiration is fast approaching. And soon I shall be ushered through the great cannery in the skies.
Don't say that, Mr. Abernathy. You still got a couple decades in you.
I'd steer clear, Ms. Holcomb. My affliction's bound to be contagious. It's plague. Has to be. Silas knows. He knows I got one foot in my grave, and now he wants to charge me for the other one.
I'm sorry to hear that. You're being paranoid. I'm sure it's all very tragic and heartbreaking. Pay me so I can get out of here. I'm not going to be a jerk.
You are? Oh, wow. First time anyone's ever told me that. I'll pay your fees. I don't want any trouble from Silas. But if you could see your way to freelancing for me, I could really use the help.
Why do you think I'm a freelancer?
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean nothing by it. Wasn't trying to insult you.
Oh, I'm not insulted. Why would I be insulted?
It was just you ain't one of us. A spacer, I mean. Stands to reason you got no company looking after you. Not your fault, though. Even freelancers gotta eat. And if that means they must scratch some bits out of odd jobs, who am I to judge them? At least you're not a deserter.
What kind of odd job are you referring to?
Couple hours out of your day and some light second-story work. That's all.
Second story work?
There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center. Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me.
No, not so fast. I've got some questions.
I'll do what I can.
Why can't you just buy some medicine yourself?
I tried medicating myself with adrenatime. Didn't do much for me, as far as I can tell. Anyway, I can't just buy medicine. Distribution of medicine is strictly prohibited to any workers beneath the acceptable margin of health. Company policy.
Of course it's company policy. If you're too sick, you can't get medicine. I guess they think, well, it'll just be a waste if we give it to you because you're too sick. In other words, the company won't treat you because you're already sick.
More like the company won't treat me because I'm not healthy enough.
I assume there are guards?
You will not find any guards within sight of that old place. Marauders, on the other hand.
What can you tell me about the Marauders?
I have it on good authority. There's a gang of them squatting there. I advise stepping softly.
I've heard enough.
So you'll do it then?
I'll do it.
You oblige me with your haste. I think I feel the plague spreading. Oh, Lord, it's in my spleen now. I can feel it.
Anything I should know about this community
Just
center?
keep your head down when you're in there. Marauders have taken over. Probably tracking mud all over the archives.
You're taking an awful risk, trusting me, you know.
I know that. But I got nobody else to turn to. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see the good vicar, but I never did find my courage.
I'll leave you be. Alright, so... you can get medication for him. Is this another exit, or... no, it's his bedroom. I'm not gonna steal from the poor old guy. So...
You're making a mistake working for Abernathy.
really? Just who the heck are you?
Excuse me. I'm Esther Blaine, Spacer's Choice Actuary. I overheard your talk with Abernathy. I hope you're not thinking about getting him that medicine. Abernathy is a well-known hypochondriac. Anthracillin is wasted on him. You're better off selling it to me instead.
What do you need it for? I can use my medical and say he's got symptoms of something, so you're saying it's psychosomatic, or I'll think about it. So I'll try to use my medical.
All I'm saying is Abernathy's
Hey,
worked
that
in
worked.
this town longer than some of us been alive. How do I put this gently? He's got a lot of cobwebs up in his attic.
Well, what do you need it for?
I probably shouldn't tell you. Don't want you implicated for what I'm trying to do.
I really don't care. Let me worry about that.
All right. Here's a summary. A lot of sick people in this town, and we don't have the medicine to treat them all. Can't reach out to corporate without crossing a river of red tape, so I'm reaching out to you.
I get it. You need someone to smuggle your medicine under the table.
Something like that. Look, I'm not in the habit of law breaking, but sometimes you've got to do the wrong thing for the right reasons.
I can see that. I'll consider it.
That's all I can ask of you.
All right, so I'm going to get the medication regardless, and I can give it to either Abernathy or Esther Blaine. We still need to, so we've made some progress amongst all of our quests. We still need to go talk to the vicar before we can go out to the geothermal plant and the old botanical area. But I've already got a while in recording this video, so we'll pause here. We'll pick it up in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.